What's up, movie lovers? It's your girl Rossie, and I'm back for another video game show. Tonight, we're going to talk about our top 5 best and worst third person shooters. So let us get into it and talk about it. I'm so excited, guys.
I am too.
All right, what's up, everyone? We're back. It's Rossie. I'm here with Trust, Don Tucker, Frito, and they got their list together. We're going to get into it. Thank you guys for waiting. You know me, just a little bit about me. I love video games, all types of video games. I've been playing for years, and from open world, first person, third person shooters online, I love them all. So I'm a true gamer, and I can't wait each month to do a video game show. So I have my friends with me, and Don, since you haven't been here with us, we're gonna let you go with your first worst video game.
First worst? Okay.
Yeah, the first we're gonna start with our worst list.
I'm gonna go with with one that it just wasn't fun to play, and I really liked the concept behind it, but I just didn't enjoy it, and it was Sunset Drive. Do you guys remember
Sunset
this?
Overdrive?
Sunset
Yeah, Sunset
Overdrive.
Overdrive. Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Overdrive?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just didn't like the game overall. I really liked like I said, the concept of it. I was like, oh, this is really cool. Like, you can slide on the the
That almost
rails
made
and
my
all
list.
this. Yeah. But the mechanics of it and just the shooting and everything was just kind of wonky, and it just really didn't get. It just didn't get there for me. So
I think that
just
was a lot of
really-
people's reaction to that game.
Yeah.
Right.
And it was a
Yeah,
free
sounds
Xbox
fine.
game, so it was like, how bad can it really be? And it's like this bad.
Right.
Yeah.
Sunset Overdrive. Frito, what
Yeah.
about you? What's on your list? What's your first
Number 5 for me is going to be a very wildly misconstrued one, and people are going to disagree with me, but GTA 5.
Mm.
Oh,
Oh,
really?
wow.
Yes.
What was
I
it
think
about
the
it?
actual shooting aspect of it is actually one of the worst mechanics of the game.
Right.
I really think that they really missed the ball on that, and they never changed their style from like Vice City, and they just kept it through the entire way. How you
Okay.
fire guns and your aim down sights and everything like that.
Sure.
And then on top of that, we had the game it's the same game for 10 years, and that's kind of like, yes, the longevity of it, but also it's
Right.
just like, how much more can we do with the freaking
Right.
game?
Right.
Yeah.
It's just at this point, I feel like they didn't know how to. It just felt like they just kept adding what they should have done for GTA 6 into GTA 5 and prolonged the inevitable.
Right.
And now I'm just like, okay, where are you guys going to go with GTA 6?
Right.
Yeah.
And then on top of
it was
that,
on my
just-
list too. Honestly, man, it's
And I
just
think-
it's just a bad.
Also,
Shooter.
the toxic community that follows it
Wow.
Yeah.
But that's every
There is
game.
a-
I think every
GTA
game has a
Online
version of it.
is some of the worst toxicity.
Right.
I've
It
seen.
really
in games.
is. It
Like,
really
there's
is.
some to even enjoy online, you most of the time have to be in passive, because if you come out of passive, nine times out of 10,
Yeah.
you're getting shot by a random
That's what.
person.
Yeah. That's what I
Holy.
experienced.
Yeah.
That's what I
Yeah.
experienced. I wanted
It's
to.
so annoying.
Yeah, I wanted to enjoy the game a different way because it's,
Mm-hmm.
been so I was like, I'll try the online. They have so many new features. It's awesome. And that was my problem was if you go out of passive, they come out and they're just shooting you, and so you
Yep.
can't really enjoy the game at all.
And then it's like they see you as soon as you respawn, and they just go right for you.
And that
It's not even like,
exactly
It
right.
would be cool if you respawned maybe in an entirely different
Okay.
part of the map, but no,
Right.
you literally spawn up the road, and they can
Yeah.
see
Oh yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
you, and it's like, oh, okay,
And then you have to switch to your
real quick.
sniper before somebody snipes you back.
And
Yeah, because they know
yes.
where you're going to spawn. So
Yes.
Exactly.
yeah.
That's what I absolutely didn't like
So like
that.
I said, I know people love the game, but it's my number 5.
Oh, there are some
Okay.
great aspects of the game, but the shooting
Absolutely.
part is bad. The shooting part is definitely bad. Yeah, I agree with that. I would
Trust,
agree.
what's up?
All right. So for my number 5 worst list, I have Ride to Hell Retribution.
Okay.
So this game came out in 2013. Pretty much it's a It's a poorly written story that follows Jake Conway, who recently returned from the Vietnam War. He comes back to his uncle and his little brother, and the game attempts to establish a bond, but fails horribly simply because the voice acting is really bad in this game. I mean, it's literally some of the worst voice acting I've ever heard. And every character, it lacks emotion. There's nothing in the dialogue that really has any emotion that evokes anything. It's written really bad. Whoever wrote the game didn't have a really great concept, and the graphics are low res. They're very angular. They're muddy. The game came out in 2013, mind you.
Right. So
and it looks like it came out in 2000. Like, it looks like a Dreamcast game. Wow. It's really bad. The mechanics are horrible. When you drive your motorcycle, it feels like you're kind of floating on air. The guns have no power, and the shooting is just really wonky. Like, it has aim assist, but when you're aiming at somebody, the bullets are not going exactly where you're aiming. It's just clunky. The game's very clunky. Lots of the missions are really pointless, and it feels like a game that was just thrown together. Wow. So my number 5 is Ride to Hell Retribution.
I feel like I've played this before, and I remember, if I remember correctly, they had a sawed-off shotgun in this, right?
Yeah, they had a sawed-off shotgun.
Okay, I remember vividly actually going up to someone and like shooting them point blank and nothing happening.
Yeah,
and I was just like, what is going on?
Yeah, dude. The minigun the mounted minigun that you shoot does absolutely nothing except blow up the barrels for a little cool effect. But the barrel explosion is so low res, it looks like a PlayStation 1 explosion. It is so bad.
2013?
2013. The game is horrible. It's a really bad game.
Wow.
I don't know this game, but
you could probably pick it up for $2. It's a good laugh. You're having a bad day. You put on Ride to Hell Retribution, and you get a good laugh out of it.
Okay, all right. So John had on his worst list. Let's see. We have The Matrix: Path of Neo.
Oh, Matrix.
Did anyone play that? I know I played a Matrix. Was that the one we played? Matrix.
That was the one where that had that super dark mission where it's completely pitch black and you have no idea where you're going.
Okay.
It's literally black as night. You have no idea where you're going. Okay. That was that game. That game sucked. It was on the PlayStation 2.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I remember that game. That was
well,
that was a bad game. Really bad.
Yeah,
game.
It was.
My number 5 is Mercenary 2, World in Flames. It was a PS3 game, PS2, Xbox. It came out in 2008. Let's see, it was the developer was Pandemic Studio. It was published by EA, and I played the first Mercenaries, and I loved it. It was so fun. Yeah. It was great. I mean, the buildings coming down, the fact that you can call in airstrikes, and the better you get, the airstrikes were just awesome. I remember just using them up. But the second one came out, and it wasn't like the first one. It was boring. The mechanics, I felt like they didn't know what they wanted to do. You were over in the Middle East somewhere. And you had your base, and you're rebuilding your base. You're rebuilding your base. Yeah. And then you'd go out and basically the same thing, go and find and capture the bad guy. But it just, and I played it and I did finish it, but I remember being just so disappointed. The graphics were all right. They were a lot better than the PlayStation 2, but they never could claim what they did the first time. So that made my list.
You know what? I got to agree with you. Yeah. Because I love the concept of the first one, and I love the way it played. The gameplay, like you said, everything felt like a progression as you played the game. And then 2 came out, and it was just not the same game.
No,
it just wasn't. There was no real improvements other than graphics and maybe some mechanics, but overall, it was not a great game. Yeah.
I loved the second Mercenaries.
Did you like it?
Really?
I loved the second Mercenaries. I love the first one, and I love the second one. And also, while we're talking about it, I love Freedom Fighters. I didn't put that on my list, but Freedom Fighters was an awesome my list. Game. Really?
It is on my list. You just it's on my good list. It is on my list.
There it is.
You would have to say that, and I had a feeling that you were going to bring that up, but it did make my good list. So don't talk about freedom fighters anymore. I don't take my thunder away.
All right.
Stop it. Oh my gosh, Don, you're next. Your second one.
Yeah, so I have one because, and maybe this is just me being a little biased and just maybe expecting more out of this game than when it came out than what we got, which it's Battlefront 1. Star Wars Battlefront 1.
Oh, what?
The newer Battlefront 1. Yeah. And again,
Okay.
It's just disappointed in so many ways because I feel like they tried a lot of things and I think they sort of got it better in the second one eventually, but the first one is just not great. It's just not a great shooter game. The online, it's very limited to what you can do and modes and stuff like that. It was just a very, in my opinion, I think one should have been. I think Jason said this. One should have been a beta, and two should have been the game.
I've said this in the past,
and it's true. I really think that's true about that game. Yeah, just
and all the cool heroes were locked behind DLC.
Yep.
It was so hard to play the coolest characters. Like you want to play Darth Vader, but he's locked behind this giant paywall.
Yep.
And like the PlayStation 2 ones, you just had them unlocked.
Yep.
Like you're able to use Yoda, you're able to use all of them, and then the new one comes out and they put all this cool stuff behind the paywall. I agree with that.
Okay, never played it. All right, Frito, what's up?
Number 4, this one's just because I had a lot of hope for it, but Anthem. The concept of the game, it was just like Halo meets kind of like Mass Effect almost.
Right.
But it came out as a beta. Then they said they released the game, but it was just the beta. It was just, there was no other progression. And once you beat, like I remember I beat the main campaign of it, the beta of it, 2 days.
Wow.
Then I played when it came out, the rest of it, I had an additional 12 hours of gameplay.
Oh, wow.
And I was just like, what is this?
Yeah,
you had so much potential with it, and it was such a, like I said, a cool concept because Mass Effect and Halo, 2 great games, and the aspect of the decision making they put into it could have been so amazing, but it felt like you were just getting still like these really rugged NPC responses from people, and I was just like, where is where's the communication? Where's the emotion? Where is it? It just fell so short, in my opinion, and it had such high potential.
Right. Trust.
My number 4, I have Drake of the 99 Dragons. This is a PlayStation 1 game, or not PlayStation 1, excuse me, an Xbox original game, and I really like the graphics. The art style of this game is really cool, and sadly, that is the only good thing about this game. So you play as Drake, and he's a member of the 99 Dragons clan, and they have a mission to protect this ancient artifact. One day, this guy called Ghost Assassin comes in, steals the artifact, kills your master, and your job is to get revenge, get the artifact back, and save the world from Ghost Assassin ruling the world. The gameplay is borderline unplayable. The camera gives you motion sickness because wherever you move, the camera moves super fast, and it's never aimed where you really want it to. And every time Drake jumps, it's like he's on the moon. It's zero gravity jumps in. He jumps super high, jumps super slow, and doesn't jump where you want him to go. The guns, like literally when he shoots, his arms will be completely behind him, shooting in a way that would break your arms. And he's doing this all the time, and his guns are never going where you actually want him to go. Like, you literally can stand right next to a person, and your guy is shooting like this and get reloading his guns, and like maybe one bullet will hit out of your 24 bullets that you have in each pistol. Like, it's a really bad game. The story is just, it's boring. It's like pretty much any action game. This happens, get revenge. You know, it's just a really linear kind of mission path. It's a
Right.
boring game. The gameplay is really bad, and yeah, that is my number 4 pick.
Okay. All right.
Mhm.
Let's see. John's number 4 pick was 50 Cent Bulletproof. Who remembers that game?
Oh
Remember
my
that game?
God,
Remember
that's
that?
on his
I
man!
worst.
do remember that game.
Remember that
That's on
when
Yes.
it
his
came out,
worst.
guys?
Wow.
Come on, that was so
Wow!
much fun.
That's a blast from the.
I'm sorry. I guiltfully loved playing that game.
Oh, come on.
Wow! I totally forgot about that game.
Yeah.
I definitely
guiltfully
forgot about
loved
that
playing
game. Yeah.
that game. It was
Yep.
Oh,
it was so fun to just see 50 Cent knocking out like agents in the middle of the night in bushes. Like, I'm sorry, guiltfully I love that one.
that's all right.
Um,
That's fair.
let's see. That's funny. For me, you guys, I don't know if you guys remember Army of Two.
Oh
You guys remember
man!
Army of Two?
I
It
That
think
was
was-
so.
That's on your worst list.
Yeah, because well, it was hard for
Oh.
me because I remember I got really far in it, but it got repetitive. It got boring to me. I stopped playing it. I absolutely stopped playing it. So I had to put it on my list. And I was really like I was torn because I remember when I first got it because I wanted this game. I remember I bought it when it came out. It was so cool. The two guys. Here's the problem I think I had. It was a co-op game, and I didn't play co-op. I wanted to play single
Okay.
player. And
Okay.
that's where I went wrong because if you see some reviews that if you play co-op, it's a
Oh, the
fun
game is
game.
awful. That's why
But
I
if
actually
you
have
play
it on
by
my top
yourself,
5.
it's a
It's
different
funny.
experience, and I had a different experience. And I remember
That's
everything they did was different, and I remember that. But
Mhm.
after a while, I just got bored because you go to this area and it's kind of the same thing, kind of the same movements that they would do while they're together, which I thought was cool at first. The whole slow motion and he's behind you and then the camera will go around and that was fun. It just got a little boring. So, but like I said, I played it as a single player, and they do recommend if you play it with other people. So anyone wants to play that, it's Army of Two. It's let's see, it's EA, and it came out in 2008 for the PlayStation 3. So yeah, I'm sure it's replayable. If you play with other people. So
Yeah, I will say
that's,
I will agree with you on that. If you play alone, it's not fun.
Yeah,
It's definitely
and I
not
played
fun
alone, so I
Yeah,
had a
I
totally
would
different
agree with you.
experience.
Definitely agree.
Kind
with
of, it's kind of like the Division. You got to play it with other people
Right,
for the
right.
Division to be a lot of fun.
Absolutely, and I get
Yeah.
that now. I get that now because I play online now. Don, you're next.
All right, I have one I think might really upset people
Oh no!
because I really hate this game. And I know people love it. It's Fortnite. I can't stand it. I just can't. I just can't do it. I can't do it. I've tried so many times to play this game and I just cannot get into it. It is just
Right.
way too much going on in the middle of being shot at. I did not have time to build a freaking fortified tower to get away from you. I just want to shoot you and run away in the situation. Yeah, I just really don't like the game. And I get why people like it. I get
Right,
why people like it. I
Right.
I can't like it. I just can't get into it.
Fortnite.
But yeah, that's
Fortnite.
on my worst for sure.
Frito, what about you?
I'm looking at my list now, and I'm realizing a lot of it's just what I failed potential in my eyes. So Fallout
Fair.
76.
What was that?
Oh,
Fallout 76.
Right.
Yep.
Yes.
Fallout
Yeah.
76 is number 3 for me because
I
they
get that.
basically,
That
from
game.
what I understood from before the game came out, they promised us almost like a better version and an online version of New Vegas.
Okay.
And that is not what we got.
Right.
yeah.
We got a half-finished game
Right.
that was really buggy.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime you got into kind of populated areas, forget about it. You were dropping like a fly. Everyone was, dropping out of servers, all that kind of stuff. And it just didn't take long for them to, I feel like, just the devs to just forget about the game. Like they just stopped working on it.
Right.
And it was just very evident that they were dying down with fixing bugs, fixing server problems. And even the shooting of it was just so like janky. Like, and it was just like, this is a game that is supposed to be the new staple of your franchise, and it should be a home run, and you just drop the ball so hard.
Right.
Sure.
Right.
Well, I feel like the problem with Fallout 76 as well was the time it got released. You had ESO blowing up.
Yes.
And Bethesda was really putting a lot of their time into ESO, which, I mean, ESO has really done a great job.
Yes.
But they kind of just ditched Fallout 76. Like, you know what, this didn't work. Let's just go on to ESO and just go full force with that. So I think the timing of that coming out was just really bad.
Yeah, and it's really unfortunate because if you would have just diverted a little more attention to it, you could have had 2-star games coming out at the same time.
Right.
Exactly.
Like if you just did it right, this could have been 2 home runs for you, no problem.
Yeah.
Right.
It's fair.
Trust.
That's Dawn.
No, it's you.
No.
Oh.
Yeah, it's you.
Yeah, so, yeah.
For number 3?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, awesome. Well, my number 3 is State of Emergency 2. Game came out in 2006.
Those were good games.
And this game is set in the year 2035 and establishes a world that's rocked by an economic crisis. It's roughly a decade ago before it happened. So 2025, this whole economic crisis happens.
Is it predicting the future?
Huh?
I says, is it predicting the future?
Yeah, right.
Oh,
right.
yeah, I know. I thought about that when I was writing this. I thought about that same thing. But so the government is weakened. So a decade ago, and due to the weakened government, the American Trade Organization known as the Corporation, they build their own military, establish police state, and in response to an underground resistance force that goes by the original name Freedom, begins fighting back the powers that are causing all sorts of havoc and disrupt their operations. And at this point, the corporation declares a state of emergency. And that's really about as far as this game goes. The game has 2 modes. There's 2 modes to play. There's Revolution mode and there's Chaos mode. In Revolution mode, you work through like these little short tasks, like kill this guy, blow this thing up, protect this person. And Chaos mode, it's pretty much like an arcade style mode. You have 3 minutes to cause as much chaos and get as much points as you can. So pretty much you're in like a crowded area and you just want to wreak havoc, shoot people and stuff like that.
Right.
And the Revolution mode is really more frustrating because the objectives are so tedious and just it's really the difficulty of it is just it's absurd. Trying to protect a person in like this giant crowd and having to protect them from all these people is just annoying. So Chaos mode was pretty much where it was at. And the gameplay is pretty much basic. It's repetitive and it's very clunky. There's really not much to the game. The story pretty much ends at the state of emergency happens, and it's explained in a 60-second intro scene. Everything that you need to know happens in 60 seconds, and pretty much from there, you pick if you want to play Revolution mode or you want to play Chaos mode.
Oh my God.
That's State of Emergency 2 for you. It's horrible.
Wow.
Now, the one good thing about the game, the melee was really good. The melee was awesome. The shooting, on the other hand, which is the main aspect of the game, because there's 25 weapons to choose from, is horrible. Every gun sucks. So State of Emergency 2 is my number 3 pick.
All right.
Every gun.
Seriously, man, it's so bad.
Wow. I believe it. I definitely.
Wow.
I remember you got that for my birthday.
Yeah.
You got that for my birthday and played it a few times and never picked it back up.
Well, still wasted probably $40. John has for his number, let's see, his next pick is SOCOM. SOCOM 4.
Oh, SOCOM 4.
Anyone have any thoughts on that?
I love SOCOM.
I don't remember the specific game.
I do. Yeah.
Right.
I had SOCOM on the PSP. I loved SOCOM. It's a really fun tactical shooter.
Yeah, John.
The best silenced pistol sound in the world in any shooter game.
Yeah, dude. Their weapon sounds were on point, especially coming out in the mid 2000s. SOCOM, I mean, in my opinion, they were ahead of their time.
Well, you know, John.
Yeah, I
he's
don't
the one
remember
that will
hating
take
the
it back.
games, but yeah, I don't. I mean, I just I don't remember anything about that one specifically.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. I remember the SOCOM games. I just don't remember
Mhm.
that one. So,
Yeah.
but John, you know, he's
Oh,
he probably took that back. Um, my third game was Red Faction Armageddon. It came out in 2001. THQ Sci-Fi Games. Now I love the Red Faction series. I played the first one, which made me
Mhm.
fall in love with the whole blasting of the walls, and that was just really cool. Being on Mars, when they came out with that one, I just, you know, they couldn't live up to what they already did. And in that first game, they did so much. It was just such an awesome game, and I played it for a while. I probably played it midway through. There was vehicles in that one that you can drive, but some of the missions were a little tedious because you had a lot of time missions where you had to get this done in a certain amount of time. And I remember it wasn't enough time, and I lost interest very early on in the game because I was looking for the original Red Faction. I was looking for just to continue from there, and they
Mhm.
just came back and they continued to just do other things, do something different. So I was pretty disappointed with Red Faction. And when I'm into a game and a series, you know, and I love that first series, and the second one comes out, I'm one that will go and spend the full price because it has to be just as good as, you know, the first
Mhm.
one. And so, you know, you want to like it. You know, you want to like it because you love the first one. And I remember just looking for something and trying to stick with it, but it just that was it. And I believe that one was, I think that one was like their last one that they did. There's no more Red Faction, but I really would love it if they could update and remake the very first one with the
Original.
graphics that we have out, the original one,
Mhm.
because what they were doing at that time was just totally different. I remember the guns were fun, but the fact that you can blast through the caves or the mining, you were mining, and you can blast through, and that was just really cool. So, yeah, Red Faction is my third one.
I do remember that they came out with another Red Faction or Red
Yeah,
Faction,
wasn't it?
Red Faction Guerrillas, and it
Right.
was I think it was on the PlayStation 3. I could be wrong, but I
Yeah,
remember
I
playing.
think you're right.
I remember playing that one, and that one was pretty fun. I mean, it wasn't as good as the
Probably.
original, but yeah, that
Right.
one was pretty fun. I totally forgot about the Red Faction games, though. To be
Yeah.
honest with you,
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think I played the first one, but I definitely don't remember the second or
Yeah,
third. Yeah, I
they
don't
were.
remember them.
I
Yeah,
remember
no, you're probably
those.
right. I think the second one was fun, and then with the third one, just they just lost it. It was just, you know,
Yeah.
done. It was just done.
Yeah.
Don, you're next.
Well, my second one was taken already. So I'll give my number
Okay.
one.
What was your second though? What was
Yeah.
it?
Oh, GTA 5.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I
Okay.
picked that one
Okay.
too. Yeah, so I
Okay.
picked that one too. So this was a game that, wow, it actually got better and then worse again somehow. But the first one, I don't even know how they got to a second game because I really hated the first one and loved the second one. Was Crackdown. Do you guys remember
Oh,
Crackdown?
I
my
love
God, yes.
Man, what an
Crackdown.
awesome
I don't know
game.
how this game got a second one, but the second one I
Yeah.
loved. I remember loving the
Yeah,
second
the
one,
second
but
one was good. It was
right,
good.
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I did not like the first one, and it was so
I
weird.
I love
I just remember the
first
second one
one.
had Terry Crews in it, and it was so great because he
Yes,
was in it.
right.
He was so
Yeah.
funny in that.
Yeah,
Yes,
he
he was.
was.
Yes,
Yeah.
but the first one, yeah, I just really didn't like the first one. I don't
Oh,
even know why I played. I guess the second one I played because of Terry Crews, but yeah, the first one I remember hating that game. Like just
I remember loving
Man,
that when it
I
came out. Yeah.
loved Crackdown. That game was so much fun.
I
And the
think
second
it
one was
different.
amazing.
yeah, the second one's
Different at
great.
the time.
Yeah, the second
love
one
it.
was crazy. I mean, they improved everything. They came
Yeah.
back super strong with the second one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a little bit
Crackdown.
harder but fun.
And even
but
like
fun.
Yeah.
still, Crackdown 4 that they came out with was not bad at all.
Oh,
Really?
See,
See, I didn't
'Cause
play.
I heard so.
play
I didn't
4.
even buy it because I was like,
yeah, I haven't played past Crackdown
Like,
2,
3
sadly.
was horrible. Like 3.
yeah, I
really,
heard
was
three
like,
was bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
4 was not bad. It really
Okay.
was a decent game, and it definitely
Okay.
helped at least boost the franchise.
Okay,
From
okay.
Oh,
Sure.
yeah.
Okay.
I'll have to get that because I avoided it because of just disappointment. But I'll go and get that one because I enjoyed them. They just 3 just
Oh, yeah.
kind of ruins it for you.
I completely get it.
It really does. It really does.
Yeah.
You know, what
So it
about
holds
you?
true to the sucky game, good game, sucky game, good game.
Right,
Well, yeah.
right. What's your next one, Frida?
Okay, so my number 2 is Mass Effect Andromeda.
Wow.
No,
Okay.
Mass Effect Andromeda, the story. I mean, from what Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3 was,
Right.
the story fell so hard. I mean, it was just, it felt rigid. It felt forced. Even the choices you made, some of them didn't seem logical. Like it was just, I remember most of the things were just so obscure. And then they basically bolstered it that it was going to be a predominantly multiplayer game and they were going to focus on multiplayer, but they only had 3 or 4 different modes to play from. And they were just really janky, and like they were trying to put a spin on search and destroy, King of the Hill, and capture the flag, but it was so like using everyone's powers, it was just so uncomfortable. Like they wanted to be Destiny almost, but could not be Destiny, and it just was very, in my opinion, sad for the franchise.
Right.
Yeah, Armageddon was probably, I remember playing it for 2-3 weeks and then never touched it again.
Wow.
See, I remember loving the first 2, and I, for some reason, just never played the third one. I don't know why.
Third one was amazing.
The first 3 are amazing. Like, everyone's better than the last one. Yeah, it's so good, and the story in Mass Effect is just, it's one of the best stories in gaming.
Like, the last one, you can be like, there's so many different endings. Like for the actual franchise, it's like you can't spoil anything because it's all a matter of what you choose.
Exactly.
I don't know, the first one for me, I remember being excited about it, but it was just too much going on. It was too much. I didn't care for the gun battles. I didn't care for you had to go here, you had to go there. The dialogue just went on and on.
The first one's really slow.
You know, it was really slow for me. And coming from, the Elder Scrolls, I should have been used to that because you do that in that one.
Oh, yeah.
And, but so I didn't really care for that one, but I heard that the second one was really good. I heard the first one was good. I just didn't care for him, so yeah.
The second Mass Effect might be the best Mass Effect, in my opinion. The second Mass Effect is the best one in the series. But my number 2 pick, this is a kind of left field pick, but Bad Boys 2 Miami Takedown. This game came out in 2004.
I've never heard of this.
Now, this game is not based on the movie Bad Boys 2. Okay, it's not.
I was like, wait a minute.
But everything about this game sucks. And when I say everything about this game sucks, I mean literally everything about this game is bad. This game has a poorly and boring delivered tale of a Russian gang and a Latin gang joining forces, and the main characters, which are the detectives, pretty much, Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. They are out to save Miami and take down this gang. Now, the game is really boring. It has linear missions, and it's pretty much just in generic-looking urban areas. Every area pretty much looks the same, just very generic, kind of Queens, New York kind of look. And the controls, they're basic and honestly just downright bad. The moving feels awkward, and it's very unresponsive. The left analog stick, it's really sluggish, and the way in which the camera moves around in places, it's a lot of the time you don't really know what's going on because the camera will be like up against the wall, so you won't be able to really see your character or see really what's going on in that room. The camera angles in that game are bad, and I know early 2000s, lots of games, the camera angles, they really couldn't get down camera angles that well, and this is one game that they definitely could not get down the camera angle. I mean, there is very little parts where the camera actually looks good, and when you're shooting, the slightest nudge of your right analog stick to aim, you're just turning everywhere. The slightest, I mean, I'm talking the slightest movement of your right analog stick. You're looking so far away. It's like there is no sensitivity bar in this. So you play at whatever sensitivity the game has it programmed to. And it is just, it's unresponsive when you want it to be responsive. and then it's too responsive when you don't want it to be responsive.
Okay.
It's hot and cold all the
Okay.
time, the whole game through. And if you make it through the whole game, I mean, badge of honor to you, congratulations. But this
Right.
game is horrible. So
Right.
my number 2 pick, Bad Boys 2, Miami Takedown.
All right. Before I
I
get to
can't
that,
believe I
wanna-
never heard of this game. That's so crazy.
I heard of it, but I've never seen it. I didn't even know they made it. So guys, listen, tonight what we're doing is we're talking about our top 5 best and worst third-person shooters. So that's what we're talking about. And I'm joined by Don Tucker, Frito. I'm joined by Trust. I'm Rossie McCree, and we're at Rossie Talks. Okay, so just to let you guys know what we're talking about, and let's get into John's second pick. Let's see. John had, well, actually, it's called Wet.
Oh, I've
Anyone
heard
ever
of
heard that?
Wet. I've heard of that
I've
game.
never heard of this.
I've heard of
never
it, but
heard of that
I
game.
never played it.
Frito, you ever heard of it?
No.
'Cause it's
What?
Wet.
Probably true,
Hold
Jamie.
on, I gotta
Probably
look this
true.
up. What?
Wet.
What's the name?
Can someone look?
Hold on.
Yeah, I would love
Yeah,
to know what
let's
this
look it
is because
up.
I have never heard of it.
I've never heard of Wet. Eli,
What?
have you heard of it?
I've heard of it, but I've never played it or anything like that.
You gotta love John. I love that about him. He'll bring up the.
Okay. So,
I'm watching some gameplay of it.
Are you?
I've definitely
Let's
never
see.
seen this.
What? Huh? It's a
I-
PS3 game. 09 third-person shooter.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, I can
I
see
see-
why it's
oh.
bad.
Yeah, this is
I
bad.
can see why it's bad.
This is bad.
Oh my God! They put bullet
For
time in
09,
this stupid
is
game.
really bad.
Yo,
Oh,
I
what?
can see-
That gameplay.
Yeah, I'm watching this gameplay right now. This
Right.
is so bad.
Oh, they put
Oh
bullet
yeah,
time and
look at
everything
the
in
walls,
this.
dude. That looked like Resident
Oh.
Evil in '95.
Did she just jump up a 40-foot wall?
She and she's doing. Oh, dude, you know what they did? They took that Max. Wait, this is 09. This is before Max Payne. I'm like, okay.
Wait a minute. She is one-handing a sword and ziplining down a
Yes.
rope. What is
And she's
happening
it's
right
kind of
now?
got that blood
And do
rain
you
type
see
of
the way
like,
she's
Oh,
shooting at
God.
everyone?
Yeah.
wow, and
Yeah,
the
I
slow-mo,
saw it.
that's the thing
the
about this
slow-mo.
game, the slow-mo.
Did you see her
Every
slide
time
on her
she-
knees in slow-mo?
Oh my
That's even
god.
weirder.
Oh my god.
John,
That's a-
wherever you are, wherever
That's
you
a
are,
worthy one. That's a worthy
you
one
are-
for sure.
thank you. That is
Whatever
I
that
know you
is.
brought that one back, John. I could tell you that. John
Yeah, for sure. John
remember?
definitely brought
Yeah,
that one back, without a doubt.
John took that back. So okay, so that's John. You gotta love John's list.
Oh
Okay.
my god.
Let's
Pretty
see.
good
Did I
one.
do- Okay, mine is do you guys remember this one? Dawn, Oni.
Oh,
Remember?
Yes, I do remember Odie.
one of the
Okay.
first PlayStation 2 games to release.
Oni. So let's
Yes.
see. Okay, so
Ah.
Oni was a Bungie West game. And let's see if I can find out a little bit of it. This was such an old game. Rockstar was even involved. Rockstar
Yeah.
Canada
Oh, really?
even developed this game, yes.
Wow.
And
I didn't
it
know
was
that.
kind of like Ghost in a Shell, Akira.
Mhm.
This game had so many. I remember the glitches in the game.
Mm.
There were so many glitches in just the beginning of the game. It was hard to get to the second level. And
Yeah.
I remember thinking there's something wrong with my game system because it's glitching. So I would start the game all back over again because I really wanted to love this game. I loved games like that at the time.
Mhm.
I would put it back in and replay the game, get back to the same area, and the glitches would happen. The shooting, this game was, I was pissed. Do you guys know how many times I replayed that game just because I'm like, maybe it's my game system. Maybe that's what it is.
Oh,
The
man.
disc was those, remember when the disc were the colored disc?
Blue and
purple-
black,
the
and then you
blue
had the
and-
dial in the back
It
of
had-
PlayStation
yes,
2.
yes.
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
what it was. And come to find out, it wasn't us. It was the fact that the disc that they made the game on, for some reason, the PlayStation 2 wouldn't read it. So
Yeah.
it would mess up at the same time. The game was unplayable. But when you saw the cutscenes or you saw
It was
the,
so cool.
you see X Play showing the game, it looked awesome. It was supposed to be like the game at that time, and
How
it
did they
wasn't.
not know?
Oni.
No.
Oni.
did
Look,
no one play through the
ONI.
game
I
before they
Oni.
released it?
I remember it came on that little
Don't know, dude.
it was a baby blue colored disc. The
Yeah, the
underneath of
disc
it was baby
yes,
blue. And
right.
Oh yeah,
it,
they
dude,
tried a bunch of those. They had red at
honestly,
one point.
it
for
really
some
reminds me of
Yeah.
like Mirror's Edge, like an early version of
Oh,
Mirror's Edge,
yeah,
you
I get
know?
right. She could do
Man,
a
I
lot of stuff,
totally
but you
forgot
could
about
not.
Oni.
Yeah, Oni, and that was just so disappointing
Yeah.
because she had everything. So that was my number 2, Oni. Don, I know
weird-
you already gave your number
Yeah.
1. Did you have an honorable mention that you wanted to mention about a horrible game?
Yeah, no, I didn't. No, I didn't. Sorry, I
No,
didn't.
no, it's okay.
I mean,
It's okay.
I'm sure there are a lot of them, but
I'm
yeah.
sure there are. Frito, go ahead then.
Number 1.
Number 1.
Again, another huge disappointment.
Oh
to
man,
me.
here we go.
Gears of War Judgment.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Gears of War
Yeah.
Judgment
Wow.
was some of the worst gameplay I've ever experienced with it, and it was just so ridiculous because it was a game you had an amazing franchise 1, 2, and 3. Just freaking copy the gameplay almost and give me a better story. And because it was set before 1, 2, and 3, you would imagine that there would be some continuity to what happens.
What
Right.
is that? What does that mean?
But in this game, there were guns and locusts that you have never seen in 1, 2, or 3. But apparently they used them, and they were the locust main weapons, and all the. And I was just like, "What are you talking about? How?" I've read lore. I love these games. Like I'm about to do a show with my one friend on like the entire lore backstory of Gears of War, and
Awesome.
I just was like, "This game you could have told us so much better story of the Pendulum Wars."
Right.
So many different aspects of the prehistory lore, but you gave me a janky game that none of it made sense,
Yeah.
and I was just so disappointed.
Right.
Like that one, because Gears of War, we'll get to that, but it is one of some of my favorite works.
Yes.
And I traded my Far Cry 3 copy for my friend's Gears of War Judgment because he was like, "Hey, I just want to play your Far Cry 3," and I was like, "Cool, I want to play Gears of War Judgment." And then he never gave me back my Far Cry 3. So I was stuck with this Gears of War Judgment, and I never played it, dude. I finished it because I played all the Gears, and I was like, I have to finish it. But it was so honestly, I was just pissed.
Yep.
I finished it, and I was just pissed, dude. I was
Yes.
like, man, what a waste of my time. What a waste of my time.
Because I think I played through the game because I think at some point I was just like, it's got to get better, right? It's got to get better. This all has to make sense. Tie it together somehow.
Right.
Never does. It never does. Yeah, it sucks because they were set up. They literally the first game, the beginning of the game sets up the perfect prequel story.
Yes, it does.
And then this game comes. They tell the story of 1, 2, and 3, and then they say, "Oh, we're gonna do a prequel," but it's not about what we set up in the first game. It's like, then what the hell is the point of the first mission of the first game? So yeah, it's really bad. It's a really bad game in that franchise. Yeah.
Yep.
Definitely.
Trust number 1, man.
All right. I don't know. Maybe you guys haven't heard of this one, but my number 1 pick is Made Man.
Oh,
so,
I heard that.
All right. In this game, you step into the shoes of Joey Varola. He is an ex-Nam vet with a chip on his shoulder, hoping to make it big in the world of the mafia. So throughout the game, Varola reminisces of his exploits in organized crime, relaying his tales to his very, very curious nephew. And in these flashbacks, this is where you play through the flashbacks as the player. And you play through these chapters of his life. And one time you'll be in Vietnam. The next scene you'll be in New York City fighting off this mob boss. The story, the game, it's very basic and it's a very lackluster progression. The story doesn't really progress past you just really wanting to make it big in the world of the mafia, and you taking down lower level bosses to kill the bigger level bosses, and then you kill the biggest boss, and then you're the kingpin type thing.
There was
Right.
one scene where you're just shooting at a helicopter
Yeah.
with pistols, and they're shooting at you with machine guns, and you're just shooting at a helicopter. With
There's not a
pistols.
single bullet that hits you. No, it's not like the Godfather 3 where he steps out into the booth and just gets lasered with bullets and everything. It's nothing
Right.
like that. These guys in the machine guns, they miss all 200 rounds of their mag. The whole belt
Oh my
emptied.
God.
Wow.
And so the game cinematic, it's really failed because of the flat graphics and the motionless faces. So literally, the mouths don't move. There's no
Oh.
expression on the face. The eyes don't move. There's nothing. And on the PC version, the mouths
looks
move and
weird,
everything.
Okay.
The eyes move and everything. But the cinematics that they tried to do, it failed because the graphics were just so bad in this game.
Wow.
And there's lots of the characters are oddly animated, like the way they stand, it's like they're really ready to fight every single time. Like they're just very oddly animated characters, and all these elements really detract from the mood that the game really tries to create.
Okay.
You can't really get a mood from it when you see all this stuff, and it kind of just makes you laugh. It's so funny how it looks that it makes you laugh. And the AI in this game is very unresponsive. For these people supposed to be like these badass mobsters, they can't hit a single shot, and they are completely unresponsive. I'm telling you, you can walk up to them, and they're not going to shoot you until you aggro them, and then they'll attempt to shoot you, but 2 shots and they're completely dead.
Wow.
And the scripted elements of this game, they're very awkward. How they set up all the fights to happen.
Right.
Everything is just really awkward because of the AI being unresponsive. So they want this giant shootout, but the AI doesn't respond to the giant shootout. So you just have this really awkward scripted scene that's supposed to be a crazy event.
Wow.
So Man-Made is definitely one of my worst games.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just watching gameplay of it while you were talking about it, dude. That is one
Is
of
it bad?
the weirdest games. It's horrible. It's pretty bad. There's literally a dude that is like bent in half with his gun over his head like this. It's weird looking.
There's actually one other thing I actually want to talk about this game before we move on.
All right.
This game, one of its main features is a mechanic called kill wrap, and it's this bar that fills up as you kill people.
Okay.
And by pressing triangle, you get to activate the effect. But literally all it is just the Max Payne's bullet time mode.
Okay.
That's literally all it is. It slows everything down so you could run into the enemies and just kill a giant group of crowd. Everything's in slow motion. And this isn't the only element that this game has taken from other games to try to make this game good. There is a hodgepodge of stolen games and video game elements that are in this game. They're not pulled out flawlessly, and they're not even pulled off half decent. They've taken all these elements that have made these other games great, tried to incorporate it into their game. They do it completely wrong, and it just makes their game even worse. And it's like, oh, they also copied, and their game's still bad. And Man-Made is definitely, hands down, the worst game.
Fair enough.
That's pretty bad. All right. This one is a 2002 game, Namco. It is called, and it was an exclusive on Xbox when it came out. If you guys remember Dead to Rights. Does anyone remember Dead to Rights?
Oh, man.
Remember that game?
Yeah.
So you had Jack Slate. He's a police officer, partner with his K9 unit, Shadow. I thought that was cool. That was different at the time. The two end up patrolling Grant City, a metropolis seemingly populated with more criminals than honest citizens. One night, while on a routine patrol, Jack responds to a call at a construction zone, only to find his own father murdered. So he's in a pursuit of his father's killer, and that's the game takes place. But it wasn't what they made it out to be. I think, did I finish the game? I don't even think I finished the game, but I tried to. The game was, they meant well, but it wasn't a good game. The dog element in the game was new. To have your K9 with you didn't work well at all. The gunplay was absolutely horrible. The mechanics of Jack was not good. I did like the story. I thought that was a good story to build on. And I remember this game being at E3 at the time and being excited about this new IP that's coming out and it's going to be good, and just the dog and all that, and they just flopped. They flopped. But this is what's horrible about them. I think they came out with 2 more, and I remember wondering
Yeah.
why would you come out with 2 more of those games? But they did, and I don't know how the other games did. I didn't go back because I don't think I made it through this one. I do believe my husband loved it, and I believe that he played it and finished it, and then got the other ones. But yeah, I was like, here, you can have it. So that's
Well,
my number one game, and I tried to reach back there to games that just you wouldn't remember. So Dead to Rights, what a disappointment that was. That was so disappointing because
yeah, it was.
let me do John's first, and then Don, you go after. John's number 5 on his first game, third person shooter, and I agree with him. Evil Within.
Nice.
Did
Yeah,
anyone play Evil Within?
I
Oh, yeah.
played it a little bit. Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Yeah.
It was pretty
Yeah,
bad.
that no, that was his. That's on his top 5 best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, top 5 best.
Yeah, that's his number
Oh.
5. We're starting at 5. That's one of his best games that he picked.
I don't remember liking that game at
You
all.
know,
I honestly don't.
I wanted to like it because it was new, it was different. I played it, and then I just stopped playing it. I didn't like it. I really didn't like it. I was very disappointed. And you know how you want to like something because you know that they're selling that game. That game is supposed to be one of the best games in it, and they did hype it up. I thought the horror part of it was really good, but it was kind of Resident Evil. Some of the monsters and some of the things that you go through. But I just didn't like the game, and I sold it. I actually sold it. So
You pulled the
yeah,
John?
that was I pulled the John. I sold it, and I remember when part 2 came out, and I was like, maybe I'll try that, and I was like, nah, I just didn't care for the games. Yeah.
Right.
What about
Fair
you,
enough.
Don? What's on your list?
So, this is funny because this was on your worst list.
Okay.
But my number 5 was Army of Two, which
Okay.
I'll just kind of give a quick pitch. And again, I will totally submit to the fact that single player mode was horrible.
Absolutely.
But I played this with a friend of mine, and we played it in probably a day or 2, or maybe even a few hours.
Right. It was a short game.
So we played right through it. But yeah, I just at the time it was so cool to have a game that was set up for 2 people to play together and go through it. So I just loved that part of it. But yeah, when I do remember trying to play that game by myself,
Right.
and it's not fun, it's not easy, and
Right. No, right.
It's a really a drag in that sense. But kind of like you, I just wanted to think of something kind of different that I just remember. Like I remember love playing, but like I said, with other people. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
I love Army of Two. That game is so much fun.
Right.
It is.
But
It really
I
is.
did play with a friend though, so
Right,
it's a completely different experience. And I
Right.
played multiple Army of Twos. Every release that
Right.
came
That's
out,
right.
I was playing Army of
3 of
Two.
them. Right.
Yeah, and I loved
Okay.
every single one. They were so awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
They were fun games for sure.
Frito, what you got for us?
All right, so for my number 5 best, I've got Mafia 2. Mafia 2.
Absolutely.
Nice.
Such
Hell
a
yeah.
great game. It was so fun.
Wow.
It was
Yes.
so much fun. And don't get me wrong, Mafia 1 was an amazing game, but Mafia 2, they just figured out what they were doing in the first one and said, all right, let's make it even better. The gameplay was smooth. The story was amazing. And honestly, I love the guns in the game. I love the feel of it was such a good, Mafia game. Like it really was. It wasn't just corny, I should say. It was a legit game that was true to what it was trying to be.
Yeah, Mafia 2 is awesome. Oh.
Uh-oh.
And guys, it looks like we've lost Rossie for a minute.
We've lost her. Uh-oh.
She has been lost in the world.
I actually hit the wrong button.
Is probably. Is Mafia 2 the one that was based on or loosely based on Godfather?
Yeah.
Yes.
That was part 2. Okay. That's the one I really loved.
And the map was
why,
huge.
Yeah,
and that's why I said it was being a mafia movie, but it didn't do it in like a too gimmicky kind of way. I should
Yeah.
say. Like, it
I
wasn't.
think the house that you get in that game is from Godfather, right? Isn't that the house from Godfather too?
I think so.
It's kind of like how in a really
Yeah.
good way. They did
It was
Scarface, but
peaceful.
they did it in such a good way to where it wasn't corny, and
Right.
you knew it was Scarface, but they did
Yeah.
it in such a good way.
Right.
So I think Mafia
Exactly.
2, they did Godfather in a perfect non-corny way.
Right.
Mafia 2 is an awesome game. Sadly, the
I
third
agree.
one I don't feel is as good, but
No,
I didn't play the
honestly,
third one. Yes.
the
I-
third one
I-
is
I
not as
played it.
good.
I
no,
love the third one because I like the fact that it was New Orleans. They did a good job with the open world. The soundtrack was awesome. The '60s soundtrack. The story was really good, and I like the way they set up the story. How you were being investigated, or it was oh gosh, like back in the days of the hearings that they had back in the '60s, the
Oh,
communist hearings that they used to have.
yeah.
It was set up like that, telling the story through the FBI. And I had a fun time, but I will have to say that Mafia 2, I agree with you, was much better than Mafia 3. But Mafia 3, I didn't sell that one. I still have that one. I'll never get that one, I'll tell you that. And I hear they're working on another Mafia. So
Oh,
they're-
Okay.
awesome.
yeah, they
Okay.
are. Where they're supposed to bring out another
Awesome.
one. Trust, what about you?
Don, you're gonna love this one.
Okay.
My number 5 pick is Fortnite. Now, I have a lot to say about Fortnite. I will try to wrap it up really fast, but Fortnite has impacted online gaming like we've never seen a game impact online gaming before. Like, Fortnite has literally changed how gaming is today. The majority of the games that you even pay for that are like full titles kind of feel like an online service because of Fortnite. Fortnite is the very first game to ever bring a battle pass to a game. And every single game that has an online service now has a battle pass. Rocket League, Overwatch, Counter-Strike, they pretty much all have battle passes. And Fortnite did something that's really cool, I think. They did live concerts inside of the game. They did live, and the live events are really cool. Like when they changed the whole map and like they did a meteor, and like they had like this meteor that was in the game for weeks, and like you would see it in the sky every time you went in, and me and my friends were always wondering like, what is that? And then they started doing more things and building up to this giant event to where this meteor comes down and destroys Dusty Depot, and it completely changes the map. And like the way that they set up the live events are so cool in the game. They had Steve Aoki play a concert. They had what's his face, Marshmello played a concert there. Like they've had Travis Scott played a concert in Fortnite. Like really cool stuff. And their cosmetics, I mean, they went all out. Some of the coolest cosmetics to ever come out. Like when it was like season 2, season 3, like really early Fortnite, like 2017, 2018.
Right.
Like the skins that they were coming out with were some of the coolest skins that you could see in a game, in my opinion, at least. Like there's other games that obviously have cool cosmetics, but I think Fortnite took it to the next level. And because it was third person, because you could see your character, they really wanted to go out and have your character looking completely awesome.
Right.
And on top of that, I also am a little biased because of Fortnite, because I sold my account for $450. And I had, at the time when I sold it, it was February 2018, and I had a list. I had 15 of the 21 most rare items. Sold my account when it was like super at the peak, at least that I thought, and bought Black Ops 4 with it. I bought a whole bunch of stuff. I bought a year of WoW membership. Like it was, I have a little soft spot for Fortnite, and I don't enjoy it anymore. Like that's why I sold my account, because I wasn't enjoying the game anymore.
Right.
But for the time it was out, I loved Fortnite.
Wow.
So that's my number 5 pick.
Right. Okay.
Fair enough. Yeah, no, fair enough.
Right.
Absolutely.
For John, his number 4 pick is Silent Hill.
Nice.
And I absolutely agree with him. I mean, it's Silent Hill. What else? The original Silent Hill. I mean, it says it all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's an amazing game. Who did that at the time? The fog. You know what I mean? Like every little thing. The end of the road where you can't go to Grant Street or whatever, and you got to go back around. And those creepy creatures that follow you. I mean, the sounds. the school when you hit the schoolyard and you
Oh
have those little the
yeah.
baddies. You have the baddies coming after you, and I remember that
Yep.
was really scary. And then at the end, when you go down into the basement, if you make it to the end of the game, you got to battle that alligator. That's that you guys remember that the last end,
Oh
but
yeah. Oh, absolutely.
it was just an awesome game. So I agree with
Yeah.
John. Absolutely, Silent Hill.
Yeah,
My
I think Resident Evil 2 is like one of the scariest games ever. That's one
right,
of the
yes,
creepiest games you will ever play.
Yeah.
right.
If you're
It's
by yourself in the dark
yes,
playing that game,
right,
prepare to be creeped out the whole
absolutely,
time.
yes. Because you just the sounds when you're
Yes.
walking the
Yes.
streets and you hear the sounds and him running, and I love how the
Mhm.
way that he would hold the gun, because remember they wanted him to be a regular person that would hold a gun. He doesn't know how to hold it, so
Yeah.
it was purposely flimsy to get that right. And just
Yeah.
looking for his daughter, it just I played them
Oh,
all, damn near all of them, and so he's right. Silent Hill,
it's
and I
a
can't wait
tough
for the
game to
new
get
Silent
through,
Hill to
man.
come out.
Yeah.
They're awesome. Too bad the movies didn't do too good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. I have let's see, Freedom Fighters. Eli, Freedom Fighters. I played that on the
Nice.
GameCube. Freedom Fighters was just such a fun game. It was a Danish company. It was a no, it was EA Montreal, and it was published by EA. I remember just happened to run into this game. I wanted something different. I was getting bored with some of the games at the time. I went and picked that up. It was on the GameCube, putting it in, and I remember the shell shading or cartoon looking graphics at the
Yeah.
time, which was fun and different. The guns, and just you're this what are you, a janitor? You're a janitor, and you're in New York, and I believe the Chinese or someone or the Soviets came over to take over New York, so you had to get passes to go here and there. And you're in your apartment building, you get your group of friends together, and it's like you can get 6 people together in a group, and you start off with one person, and then you grow and grow and grow, and you go all over New York killing the communists. And I remember loving that game.
Yeah.
It was Freedom Fighters is just a game I think it was overlooked, and I would love for them to bring that back, but GameCube had it with Freedom Fighters. And Frito, have you ever played it? Frito.
So sorry. What?
No, have you ever played Freedom Fighters? You ever heard of it?
No, I have not. I'm sorry. I was.
No, it's fine. It's
my
fine.
fault.
No, it's fine.
I love Freedom Fighters.
Yeah.
That game is
I don't remember
just
this game.
it's so good. I mean,
But
you
it
could
was
you could beat it and then play it right back over again.
Right.
I mean,
didn't
it's
get
so much fun.
yeah, it didn't get a lot of advertisement when it came
Yeah,
out. It was one of those games that just kind of it was just out, and I just happened to be at a video store, and I would go to the game store and just go to the GameCube games to get more games, and I saw that, and I'm like, I love shooters. Let me get that, and I wasn't disappointed. But it was not many people knew about Freedom Fighters.
yeah.
No, yeah, I can't say that.
Definitely not.
Yeah, it was a really good game. So
Yeah, it was.
that is
Wow.
I would get it today and replay it just for the fun of it.
Same here.
When did you say it came out?
Like
Freedom Fighters came out
2004
in,
or 2005?
Just a second.
For
No,
that,
yeah,
for that time
2003.
period, from what I'm seeing, it doesn't look bad at all. The graphics seem pretty decent for 2003.
Right,
Yeah.
2003.
And
that's
on a
the thing.
GameCube.
Yeah, it was, and I think it came out on a PlayStation 2, but I think it was a GameCube timed, release, and then released on other systems. But yeah, it still looks good. It's still playable, and it's just so much fun to run around New York and just. And they had little. It was kind of like how they have The Walking Dead, like how they had their camps and how that was set up. That was Freedom Fighters. You make it back to another camp, and you build up that camp and get everything you need, supplies, and then you go and move on, and you just hit section to section all over New York. And it was a long game, but it was a lot of freaking fun. So Freedom Fighters for me. What about you, Don?
All right, so my number 4. The name of this game sounds so horrible, but it to me is one of the funnest games I've ever played. I love this game so much. Destroy All Humans.
Oh
yeah.
This is
Yes.
one of the funnest games. It's stupid fun. It's
Right.
absolutely just like popcorn fun. But
Yes.
this game, I literally just sat and played this
Right.
whole game because it was so much fun. The
Yeah.
main character, the alien dude, is hilarious the entire time. But
Right.
like the story's not even that great. Like, but it's just just one of the funnest games. You get to fly around in a saucer. I mean, you get to pick
Right.
up cows and humans and
Right.
destroy whole city. I mean, it's just so much fun to
Yeah.
play this game. So,
With his Jack
yeah, that-
Nicholson voice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Remember the
yes.
Jack Nicholson
Yes.
voice?
Yeah.
You know, and those type.
Absolutely.
My husband loved it. He played that game and finished it and replayed it again.
I can't
You're
wait to play
right.
the second one.
You know,
I haven't played the second one yet.
I
but
haven't
I
either.
love
Can't
it,
wait.
and they came out with a remake of the first one in 2020,
Oh,
Right.
and they built
love
it from the ground up.
Sure did.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Right.
they from the ground up rebuilt
Right.
it, and it's the same missions, same exact game,
Right.
but
Okay.
better graphics. And I just love that it takes place in the 1950s.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
Yeah.
the whole aesthetic of that game is
perfect.
badass.
Right.
Like, yeah, that is.
The colors were pretty.
Oh man, I love that
Yeah.
game so much. I've
His-
played that game so much. I played the first one, I played the second one, I played the
Nice.
remake. I love Destroy All Humans.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
So
So
fun.
yeah, that was a good one, Don. That's a throwback. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Frito, what do you have for yours?
Number 4, I have Red Dead Redemption 2.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Red Dead
Absolutely.
2. I mean, one amazing game, but
Yeah.
2, the depth that they went with that story
Yes.
was
Yeah.
so gut wrenchingly
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, there were so many parts where you're just like,
Oh,
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
like it was such a great game. And even, don't get me wrong, the community can be sometimes as toxic as GTA. But also, I play right now. I still play to this day. I play on a Red Dead server and I play on an RP
Wow.
server.
Awesome.
And I mean, I have tons of fun just playing RP, pretending to be a Native American horse trainer. It's so much fun. Like, I'm just Goga Anoli training up horses every day, and it's just great. I mean, I
Right.
told Don the other day, I think I got on, and I was like, it was 12 o'clock at night, and I was like, I'm just going to get on for like 45 minutes, train up a
Mhm.
horse. Next thing I know, my girlfriend's asleep, and it is 5:30 in the morning. and I'm
Right.
like, where am I?
Right.
Oh, no.
Right.
And I mean, just the immersiveness, the soundtrack
Yeah.
of this game. I mean, start to finish,
Yes.
one of the best games I've ever played.
Absolutely.
I like to play
Absolutely.
poker everywhere in that game.
Absolutely.
favorite
Yeah.
thing.
No doubt. I'm with you. Trust.
My number 4 pick is Max Payne 3.
Right.
It came out in 2012, and before I start, it came out a year before GTA 5, and it did not get much support after the launch, which is really sad
Right.
because this game is criminally
yeah, it was-
underrated.
Yeah.
Honestly, it had great reviews and it had great
Yeah.
sales, and it had great
Yeah.
sales, but it was often overlooked by Rockstar's other games that they had in their library at that time.
Yeah.
And you play as a character working as a private security contractor. You get caught in an elaborate rescue attempt, and the story explores themes of failure, darkness, death, and redemption.
Right.
Unlike other Rockstar games, the movement and the gunplay is super tight, and it's really provides for some really good gunfights. Like GTA feels a little loose with the shooting, but this
Right.
game,
Mhm.
it tightened everything up. The mechanics were really tight. Like, it's a really good Max Payne
Yes.
game.
Yes.
And also, I feel like that Rockstar does a great job at building up characters and building up bonds with characters, and
Right.
it's no different in this Max Payne. The dialogue is on point, a great written story. The
Right.
characters, you really get into the characters, and you really get immersed into this Max Payne game. It's pretty long, but it doesn't
Yeah.
feel like a chore to finish. It is fun from start to end.
Right.
It's a really good game, and sadly, it just didn't get support after it got launched because GTA 5 came out, and they
Right.
were all hands on deck on GTA 5. But
Yeah.
Max
Right.
Payne 3, really good game, and one of my favorites in the series, actually.
Right.
I couldn't
Nice.
agree more.
Nice.
Yeah, I agree with you. That was mine as well, so I won't mention it.
Okay.
I put down Max Payne as well, for the same
Nice.
reasons. I loved it absolutely. John's was GTA San Andreas was
Oh,
John's.
good.
Nice.
Yeah.
That
I
was his,
mean,
and it's San Andreas. I mean, what else
Yep.
is there to say? It's
Yeah.
San
yeah.
Andreas.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah,
I mean,
Don, go ahead, man.
Oh, I'm up next.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Well, I actually, my next one was going to be the first Max Payne, the original.
nice.
Just the
Yes.
way that it brought that bullet time,
Yes.
and the story was actually really good for the first game.
Right.
Yeah, it was.
I think the graphics probably now don't hold up as great, but
Yeah.
I just remember playing through that game and just being blown away by being
Yeah.
able to dive around corners
Yes.
slow mo and just
That
shoot.
was
I mean,
awesome.
it was
Yes.
one of the coolest things to ever happen in video games. It really
Definitely.
was. So, yeah, that was my pick. Was the first Max Payne, just because of what it did at that time. The only problem
Right.
is from that we got so many horrible games that just tried to steal the bullet time
Yeah.
and just didn't
Everyone
know
was
what they
doing it.
were doing with it. So yeah,
No.
Made
Yeah.
But
Made Man being one of those.
right. Exactly, yeah. So that playing that original Max Payne was just an amazing experience.
I agree.
So
Yeah, it was.
I agree. Frito, what's up?
So number 3, I got Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Battlefront 2,
Yeah.
the newest one to come out, or the newer ones to come out.
Right.
The replayability, the just the actual the game modes that they had, the amount of characters you had,
Yeah.
you could be fighting especially part of my favorite ones were actually the flying methods, where you were actually fighting in the TIE fighters or in the X-Wings, in the A-Wings, and actually flying from on the surface of a planet, going up to the starfighters, and then eventually coming back. Like, it was just so amazing to have that game. And then the actual variations of clone troopers to actually be like, yes, you're all the same, but you're also just all very, very different. And then you had all the customizations.
Right.
You had every single hero, every Sith, every Jedi. It was just overall a very fun game to play continuously, even to this day.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That was on my list too. It's one of the best shooters.
Yeah.
And again, biased because I love Star Wars so much.
Yes.
But this is a game where if I don't want to play Call of Duty or any of those other games, this is a
Right.
game I put in and just play because I love
Still have a good time.
it. Yeah.
Trust.
So for my number 3 pick, I put Drake's Uncharted 2.
Mm.
2009,
right.
developed by Naughty Dog,
Yes.
and
Right.
this is my favorite Drake in the entire series. The second
Okay.
one is amazing. This came out, it honestly came out of nowhere, the Drake series, during the
Right.
PlayStation 3 days.
Yeah.
This was a high-octane action-adventure game, and little backstory, you play as Nathan Drake, the treasure hunter with the balls of steel, traveling around the world to find untold riches and to face off with groups of mercenaries.
Right.
And the first Drake's Uncharted, I mean, huge success, but the second one built upon what made the first one so
Yes.
great.
Yes.
And it had better visuals. It was a more elaborate levels. It was deeper. It had
Right.
fantastic writing. And there's a reason why Drake's Uncharted 2 is considered by not just me, but by a whole lot of people the best in the series.
Right.
And I mean, even even the other Drakes, they're really good, but it really set the standard for what third-person action shooters should be.
Right.
And lots of games have tried to replicate Uncharted, and they have done good. But I feel like Drake's Uncharted, it's kind of like the male version of Tomb Raider. It is
Absolutely.
awesome, really good action adventure, third-person shooter, and I haven't seen the movie. I don't know how the movie is, but
It was all right. It
You don't need to watch it.
Yeah.
all right. Well, I'll stick to my good memory of the game. So Drake's Uncharted 2,
That
is my
movie
number
got a
3
lot
pick.
more hate than it deserved.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad. I mean, I watched the whole thing. It had the action adventure. I didn't like the casting. I
Right.
didn't care for the casting, but
Yes.
yeah, I made it through. It wasn't that bad. I think it made it one of the
Sorry,
best.
Mark Wahlberg is not Sully. I am sorry.
That's what I was going to say.
That's what my
Tom
problem
Holland
was.
would have been better off if he had a better companion.
Yes.
Yeah, Tom Holland was fine. I think he
Yes.
could have played. I think he was fine playing the character, but
Yes, but I
Mark
agree with
Wahlberg,
that.
no.
Mark Wahlberg
That
was
was
not
my
Sully.
problem. Yes, that was my problem.
It's
Somebody
kind of
like
like
wasn't.
the casting of Prince of Persia.
Oh,
Oh
The
my
casting on that
gosh.
movie
Oh,
was
that's right.
horrible.
Jake Gyllenhaal, that's
Yeah.
right. Jake Gyllenhaal, that's right.
Yes.
That's right.
Oh
That's really good.
no, he looks Persian. He looks Persian.
Maybe it's me. I need better glasses.
I think
man.
we
let's
all do
see.
then.
Yeah,
We
right.
all do.
Let's. Where are we at? Number two.
Yeah, number two.
Number two. Okay.
Yeah.
Number
Are we on
two.
three? I just gave my third.
You gave your
Yeah, go-
third, yeah.
Is it
So
third?
number
Okay.
I gave my third. I don't know if you've given your third,
Okay.
Rossie.
My third was let's see, The Division. Tom Clancy's The Division.
Nice.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
I love the Division 2.
Yeah.
I
Nice.
love it. I'm playing it constantly, grinding it out, having such a good time. That's actually one of the first real games that I played online and actually enjoy it and can't wait to get back online, and we'll stay up all night on my day off just trying to get gameplay in and playing with other people. He did such a great job. I love the fact that anything that you put on that character, you get to see everything. The guns are great. I mean, the rating, the chest, the just everything, the graphics, just it's such a great game. I'm so happy that I picked it up and decided to play it online. I didn't think that I would enjoy it, but yeah, and it has to be played online. You have to have other people
Yeah.
with you.
Yes.
It's so
Right.
much fun to go and just grind out a whole section with other people, and I'm loving it. So I love Tom Clancy's The Division. What an awesome game, and I can't wait for part 3.
Hell yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. But I love the DLC that they have. I mean, Heartland just came out, and that one looks amazing. So yeah, absolutely. And John had let's see, John had Resident Evil 3, PlayStation 1, not the remake.
Oh,
Okay.
Resident Evil Nemesis.
Yeah, that would be Nemesis.
Oh, that's my
Yeah,
favorite
that would-
Resident
that
Evil
would
in
be
the series, man.
Right.
That's
Nemesis.
such a good Resident Evil.
Yes,
That
it
was
was.
hard. That was
It's a good one.
That was on
Man.
my honorable like it was so hard to come up with a 5 best.
Right.
Mm,
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was.
Third person shooters, I'm not gonna lie, I think they are better in some aspects than first
Absolutely.
person.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I've had so many that I've changed my list so many times. I'm like, oh, what about this game? What about this game? And then you forget how many great ones are out there when you just look at a list of third-person
Yeah.
shooters. You're
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, I totally forgot about that. So I had to change my list so many times and scratching off this game because, well, everyone knows this one. So
Mhm.
yeah, we could go on and on with.
Oh, I
third-person
took
shooters.
Uncharted off to put Max Payne on just to have something
See,
different.
yeah, see,
Because
and
I love the
wanted-
original Uncharted
Right.
too. So yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah, I wanted to put Uncharted on, but I'm like,
So
I know
many great
one's gonna have that because I loved Uncharted 4. That was
Mhm.
by
Yeah,
far
Uncharted
my
Oh, Uncharted
was
favorite.
was great.
awesome.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh! I mean, they went out with a blast. I mean, for that to be the
Mhm.
last one, I
Yeah.
would just every section I would just stop if I'm in a desert and I just look around at everything and I'm just
Yeah.
blown away. And then when you thought the game was over, it wasn't over, and it was just I loved 4. That was just really good. So, and I
That's
hate
fair.
that they're done, but yeah, they did a great job, and that they went out with a bang. So,
Yeah, they did.
let's see, Don, go ahead, man.
Well, my number 2 was going to be Battlefront 2. So
Okay.
I'll go with my number 1 overall.
Okay.
It's again for me, it's what it did to the gaming industry and what I think it brought to the gaming industry at the time it came out. I think this should have easily been Xbox's staple run instead of Halo. I know you're going to talk about a different one in a minute, but the original Gears of War.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yes.
What this game, gameplay wise, action wise, the fact that you could chainsaw somebody,
Right.
the fact that you were just basically these big, huge beasts of men on each side, the locusts and the like, it was just such a crazy, wonky game at
It
the
was.
time that didn't feel like it should work, but was so amazing. And they improved on it over time. But what I think Gears did at the time when the first one came out was just monumental at the time. I mean,
Right.
it was just so many things that it added to shooters that were never there before and opened up so many things for other shooters. So
Right.
great game. Really a
Gears
great
4.
game.
Great game.
Right.
I love it.
Great
So
game.
I'll get to it just a second, guys.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Gears, they did good, and I think I think the last time we added the fact that you didn't see yourself when you die, you didn't see a meter. It would be
Yeah,
the
there's no
blood
health
under.
bar. It was one of the
Yeah,
first
there was no
games
health
to have
bar.
that.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
that was different, and that
Just
was
the
really
logo
cool.
would
So,
get more and more bloody, and then when
Yeah,
it got
yeah.
dripping blood,
And
you
then
were dead
dead.
at that point.
yeah,
Yeah, no, at that point, your body was eviscerated. And you were
Yeah.
completely in 4 different
And
places.
I mean, that game was so gruesome when you would go
Oh
with
my
a
God.
chainsaw right
Yeah.
into someone,
Yes.
just chainsaw them right
Oh,
in
well,
half,
even like
Yeah.
dude.
Torpo, when you would get somebody from across the map and
Yeah.
their whole body would just explode, you're just like, what did I just
Yeah,
do?
dude.
We
What
would
did I
go
just
run
do to
around all 4 of
somebody?
us in a game, just chainsaw. We would call it Chainsaw Charlie, and just.
Oh, yeah. And then
Yeah,
when they
that
brought the
game was
chainsaw
fun.
battles in later, which was insane. I mean, there were so many things this game did that was insane. But yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, Gears is
That was a good
awesome.
one. That was a
Yeah.
good one. Frito, give it to us. What do you got?
All right, so second one, Mass Effect.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
I think the first game set up the entire franchise so beautifully. The way it incorporated giving you the decisions to choose and make the character who you would be, the Jack Shepherd that you would be. You know what I mean? Like, it was just the best way to express yourself, the way you could go different love interests, the way the game would change depending on who you spoke to, what extra missions you did. And I remember, just as an overall, I think it was in the second one or the third one. The third one. No, second one. Second one. It ended with a crash in the like on a planet, and depending on what side quests you did, depended on who got saved in that crash. And if you did all their side quests, then you actually spoke to them and actually interacted with them, you potentially could save every single person on that ship.
Wow.
And I thought that was such a great aspect, even in the first one, to just incorporate that. It was so amazing.
Yeah, that's an awesome one. Hell yeah.
Trust, what do you have?
Love the hoodie and shirt. Thank you. So my number 2 pick, I have to put Gears of War 3. So and I know lots of people would say Gears of War 2, but there's a lot of reasons why I put Gears of War 3. So there's a lot that comes on this disc. This game is stock. There is so much compacted onto this disc. There's a lot to do in Gears 3. So the amount of content on day one alone puts Gears 3, like, it's where it's at. And it's pretty much Gears 3. Everyone knows it, but it's the conclusion of the trilogy, and it had a massive leap in graphics. From Gears of War 2 to Gears of War 3, the graphics are just insane. And it concluded the story of Marcus and the Delta Squad, and it had a really explosive campaign, and it supported 4-way co-op all the way through, and that's how I played all the Gears of War. I played it co-op with friends.
Don't put some respect on Dominic Santiago's name.
I know. I know. Every character in this game, I mean, the Gears series, what they did really well they built bonds with every single character. So when a character was lost, like, you really felt that character was lost. Like, it actually hurt. And Gears of War 3 was a tearjerker. How they concluded the story, they did a really good job. And it's really sad that Judgment is what comes after Gears 3, because, I mean, it's just such a disappointment. And it should have left off on Gears 3, in my opinion.
And also, one of the best accomplishments of any Gears, a Carmine didn't die.
Right.
Carmine didn't die. Claire survived the entire thing.
Completely fair. It's completely fair.
And after you complete the campaign, you get access to the multiplayer, which is a lot of fun. I think the multiplayer in Gears is super fun. Sadly, it came out at the time where I was competing in COD, so I didn't really get to play Gears online that much. But when I wasn't doing like anything like practicing and scrimming or anything like that, it was always fun to get on Gears and just play something that's a different pace from COD. And what I love, because what I loved about Gears 2 was the Horde mode, and they brought it back, and they amped it up. I mean, they brought it back, and they brought it back better than it was in Gears 2, and I love the Horde mode. It's a good play on Call of Duty Zombies. If you're familiar with Zombies, the Horde mode is kind of like that, except I honestly feel like it's better than Zombies and Call of Duty. And they also brought a new mode, which was Beast mode, which I thought was really fun as well.
Oh yeah, Beast
And
Mode. Yeah.
the campaign, it might not have been the best in terms of gameplay, and it might not have been the best campaign, but like I said, I think all the things that come on day one of Gears 3 is really what puts it at the spot that I put it at. So I love Gears 3, definitely my favorite in the series, and that's why it's my number 2 spot.
All right.
The only thing I think was wrong with the story of 3 was the Lambit itself.
Yeah.
I think if they would have introduced some kind of either a different enemy or something like that instead of this mutated version of the same thing we got, I think it would have been a little better.
And that's why that's why I feel like the campaign is a little not as good as the second campaign. I don't feel the campaign is good in Gears 3. I just feel like it could have definitely been better than what it was. Still a good campaign, not a bad campaign at all, but it could have definitely been better. But it's still, I mean, great game. Gears series is every game. In the
1, 2, and 3 are all 3 great. So,
yeah.
No, you can't really go wrong. I agree.
Okay. We already talked Max Payne, so I'm just gonna get to my number 1. Just Cause 2 and 3.
I knew it was gonna be on your list. I knew it.
Of course.
I knew it.
I love Just Cause. When I played the second one, that's when I was introduced to the game, and I didn't realize that you can actually play an action movie, that things can blow up, that you can, just go from the bottom of the mountain to the top of the mountain with that one slingshot thing or whatever.
The grapple.
The grapple. That going to the things that you had to do on your list. Knock down the columns, or what was it? The people.
Oh, the little silos and the little destroyed their whole camps and everything.
Camps. I mean,
that I know what you're talking about.
2 and 3 was so fun. So, Just Cause.
Grappling onto the helicopters and everything.
It was.
You can literally just fly in that.
The name is perfect for it.
Yeah.
Right.
The name is just exact, like literally on the nose. Exactly. It's like, why are you doing that? Just cause.
Exactly. Exactly.
I want to.
Exactly. The underwater. Going for treasure. Just you can get lost. Just doing odd things and then going back and just blowing stuff up. And I love blowing stuff up. So I loved it because I didn't play something like that since Mercenaries. And then to go back and have something like Just Cause come out. 2 and 3 was awesome. 4, not as good. I don't like the way 4 is set up. I really don't. But I did like the fact that they introduced a whole tornado system. So now you have the weather that's working against you. And I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the big thing, was the weather system. So the Just Cause series are just a lot of fun. So that's my number 1. John's number 1, Metal Gear Solid.
Oh, of
hell
course.
yeah.
Hell yeah.
That's
one of the best game.
Yeah.
One of the best gameplays or games to play ever. Just so much fun playing that game.
Right. Yeah. So hard.
It's so hard.
It's
so hard.
It's so hard. I mean, I got tired of that dint.
Yeah.
I kept getting caught. I couldn't get around the corner. And I remember stressing out, almost being in tears, because I wanted to do it right. Like, I wanted to play that game, but it was so hard. So hard.
The sneaking around in that game was insane, but the bosses were so much fun. I mean, there was a lot of great in that game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
it's like how Splinter Cell was super hard.
Right? Yeah.
Splinter Cell was so difficult, dude.
Yeah. But it was so much fun.
It was fun.
To go through your stealth. You could not do stealth. You had to do it the stealth way.
Yes.
Yeah, man. It was hard.
Yeah.
I loved all the stuff he had, though. The cameras to look underneath the doors. Like, that's one thing about Splinter Cell. Each time they came back with a new one, you had more equipment to help you out. But you just have to sit and take your time. Play a little bit at a time. Yeah, it was really good. So
much fun.
Don, you're number 1.
Oh, I did.
He did.
Battlefront 2 was the one I didn't get to talk about, but we already talked about it. So
my number 1 is Gears of War 2.
Nice.
It is.
Nice.
In my
Trilogy
personal
is
opinion,
complete.
and Don will agree. I don't know if Trust will agree, but in my opinion, it goes 2, 1, 3, as
Okay.
in my rankings of those games.
Okay.
2, I say, is better than 1, just for the simple fact that I think, as an overall whole, the gameplay and the multiplayer got a lot better from 1 to 2.
Yeah.
The multiplayer just seemed a lot smoother. They really capitalized on what people enjoyed on the, actual shooting mechanics of it, and then they fixed a lot of the bugs where you were sliding in and out of covers. They fixed a lot of that stuff, so that was a lot of fun. And then the story just it progressed the love of the franchise that they made so much that I played that game probably 4 times, 5 times over. Like, I still download it every once in a while, just play through some missions, because it's one of the funnest games ever, in my opinion.
Nice. Awesome. Yeah.
And it was the first Gears to introduce Horde mode.
Yes, it was.
A fan favorite.
The multiplayer had Wingman, which was my favorite game mode ever.
Yeah,
and
that was so much fun.
But Wingman was
Wingman was amazing.
Oh,
yeah.
2v2v2.
I agree.
It was just you and your buddy just had to go in, and you were fighting 2 other teams. It was
You had to destroy it.
bam.
Oh, if you wanted to get really nasty with a Nasher, that's the game. That's the game.
Yes,
mode.
yes. That was
Siphon filter.
Yes.
That's a game.
Yeah.
That's a game.
The whole series, right?
Absolutely.
Yes, it is a game. I think that's why she said it.
It's a game.
Siphon filter.
No, I agree. That is a great game.
Absolutely.
Great game.
Oh yeah.
Gabe, yeah, those are the early days of the PlayStation 1, right? That was a
No, that was PlayStation. Well, it had 1 and 2, yeah.
1 and 2, yeah. 1 and 2, yeah. Siphon filter was great. That's an honorable mention.
I can't remember which one came on the PlayStation 2, but it was my absolute favorite one. It was Panda something, but it was so good, man. I love Siphon Filter.
What's your number 1 though?
My number 1 is Destroy All Humans, the 2020 remake. My absolute number 1.
Absolutely.
Destroy All Humans. I mean, Don already talked about it a little bit, but it's this totally goofy third-person shooter. Originally came out in the mid-2000s. THQ remade it from the ground up, and like I said, the end result is just awesome. I mean, the levels, they're exactly the same, like I said earlier. The levels are exactly the same. Everything is exactly the same, but the graphics are brought up, and I mean, the alien is just a fun character to have. It's funny, it's engaging, and it's just so much fun going around and just destroying everything as an alien. Like what Don said, picking up cows, flinging them across the map, picking up cars and throwing them in random areas. The missions are fun to do. It doesn't feel like that there's any pointless missions. Everything's just really fun to do in that game, and I'm so happy that they remade it. It's a perfect game.
It's tomfoolery at its finest.
It really is, though. Exactly. It really is.
Well, that was it, guys. That was our top 5 best and worst third-person shooters. Thanks for hanging out with us. Before I go, Don, what do you have coming up?
Yeah, so you guys can find me on the Multiverse of Geekdom. We have a bunch of different things. A Jedi show. We have our Sunday kind of live, just talk about anything show. But this weekend, or this Monday coming up, I should say, we have the Titans of the Turf Championship game. We are at the end of the season, guys. It is actually John from this channel and Frenchie. Yeah, Frenchie. So they are going at it. But yeah, check that out, guys. We are really excited about Titans of the Turf.
Titans Bowl.
Yes.
Only one Titan can rule these turfs, and we shall see which one of those it is.
Yeah. But check me out at Multiverse of Geekdom. Like I said, I'm on kind of everything. So
awesome. Frito, what do you have coming up?
Same thing, kind of. We have like I said, Titans of the Turf is our big thing that we're really boasting this week. But I have my gaming show as well. Gaming in the Multiverse, and we have coming out tomorrow. Stay tuned. We're ranking Star Wars games.
Awesome.
Nice.
So yeah, it was a lot of fun. Nice. We have Taco on there, and he kind of steals the show, so we kind of labeled it Taco Host Gaming in the Multiverse. It was a lot of fun.
Where can we find you, Trust? Tell us what's going on with you.
just streaming as usual, and I mean Call of Duty Mobile, still streaming it. 3 years strong in it. Find me on Trovo at ITZ Trust. It's with a Z though. You know, have to be a little fancy. Yeah. Also been posting on TikTok. I've been really slow on my TikTok. I've been really pushing my stream and everything like that, and it's been going super well over there. I know Rossie, I told you a little bit about it, but
Yeah.
I've been getting rated a lot, lots of
Nice.
viewers, lots of followers coming in. So yeah, catch me on COD Mobile, having a lot of fun and playing with my friend Daniel. XD plays, and yeah, man, it's a good time.
Very
Oh, yeah.
good. You guys know me, Rossie Talks. You guys, let's see, Monday I have Brooke Parrish coming in. She's going to bring us an awesome documentary called Girl in a Picture. Really good on Netflix. Check it out, guys. It's an amazing story. And then on May 24th, we're going to hit episode 3 of The Sandman. And I have Joshua that's going to come and sit with me, and we're going to discuss that episode. And other than that, you can find me at Rossie Talks. You can find me on Instagram at McCree123, hotmail.com. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for sitting with us, and we will be back again next week. Thank you guys so much. Guys, don't go anywhere. Let me get my life together, and let's end this show, this long show that we did. How much fun was that? Appreciate you guys sticking around for that. And
Oh yeah.
It was great.
out.